Hey Curious, if you were lucky enough to grow up with cable TV, then you surely at some point would have ended up watching kid shows on Nickelodeon, and surely you remember some of the more iconic shows that perhaps shaped your early tween years, like Drake and Josh, Big Time Rush, Victorious, and of course the show that helped launch the careers of Miranda Cosgrove and Jennette McCurdy, iCarly, and a show that definitely made you want to become YouTubers before you even knew what the term YouTuber meant. If that was your favorite show, then do we have news for you, because iCarly is coming back, but a version for adults. What do we know about the revival? Are there any of the original cast coming back? Who else can we expect to see make an appearance? And which other shows are getting revived? Stay with me until the very end to find out the answers to these questions, but before we continue, don't forget to hit the bell and the subscription button so you don't miss any of our future videos. For those who might have never heard of the show and their curiosity is piqued, let me give you a little recap. iCarly was a show that ran on Nickelodeon from September of 2007 until November of 2012. It starred Miranda Cosgrove, Jennette McCurdy, Nathan Kress, and Jerry Trainer, who played the main characters. The show told the story of Carly Shay, a teen who had decided to create her own web show that was titled, as you can imagine, iCarly, and with the help of her two best friends. So now Curious, if you grew up watching this show, did you too want to have your own web show? Many celebrities that have since become or were already household names also made appearances on the program. Michelle Obama, Emma Stone, One Direction, and Jimmy Fallon, and countless others, but we don't have enough time to list all of them off. Though with the announcement of the revival, more on which in a moment, it brings up the question of whether it too will have celebrity guests, and if so, who could make an appearance? Can we attempt to make a prediction and say BTS? The show was popular among its intended audiences, being nominated for a vast amount of awards, for which included Nickelodeon's own award show, Kids' Choice Award, in which the viewers could vote online for their favorite shows, actors, musicians, and in a wide variety of categories that even included sports. To give you a quick reminder of the award show, it is one that would often cover the celebrity guests in a green slime. Yeah, that's no for us. So, however, out of all the nominated awards, the show had only won just over 20, though possibly with the revival, anything could change. As mentioned, before iCarly helped boost Miranda Cosgrove's career to an international level, previously to her role as Carly, she had starred in the hit classic movie School of Rock, in which she played Summer, and another one of her notable roles prior to her own show was Megan Parker on the hit series that aired on the same network, Drake and Josh. And if you're a fan of that program, then check out the previous video that we have on Drake Bell. And speaking of Bell, he also took part in Cosgrove's debut as a recording artist on the iCarly theme song titled Leave It All to Me, which later appeared on the show's soundtrack that featured 4 songs performed by Miranda. All of these opportunities that came with the show had allowed the young star to break into a music career, as well as make sure that her name and face were known to children across the globe. Her co-star and on-screen best friend also made a career thanks to iCarly. Jennette McCurdy had started her journey with acting prior to the Nickelodeon sitcom by making appearances on shows such as Zoe 101, CSI, and Law & Order, and just like with Miranda, the show and the popularity that it brought with it allowed for the star to the release of her own music as well. And to date, she has released 1 studio album and 2 EPs, with the album being the last one in 2012. Following the end of iCarly, the actress reprised her role as Sam on a new Nickelodeon show titled Sam and Cat, in which she starred alongside Ariana Grande, who was reprising the role from the show Victorious. If you want to know more about Grande and her success, then be sure to check out our previous video. Now, if you were a fan of the show as a kid, then do we have some good news for you. At the start of December, TV Line was the first to report on the fact that the show was being revived. And yes, you heard it right, iCarly will be back. And while not too much is known about the exact release date or the plot, here is what we do know. Just like before the show, it will be produced by Nickelodeon Studio for Paramount Plus, which is basically what CBS All Access will be rebranding to early next year. And it seems that this is something that many platforms are doing now. Disney Plus, HBO Max, and now Paramount Plus. The show will be developed by Jake Hogan, who worked on the School of Rock and The Simpsons, as well as Ali Shuden. Hogan took to his Twitter to share the news with his followers, in which he announced, "We get to make iCarly for adults." This has obviously piqued the interest of many fans and what could be meant by the adult part. But the part that most people are probably wondering about is who will be coming back. And according to a report by TV Line, who as we mentioned broke the story, a few original stars are set to return. Of course, the main character being Miranda Cosgrove, who will reprise the role as Carly, though that one was a given as it would have been difficult to make a story about iCarly without her. And 2 more stars are set to return, and those are Jerry Traynor, who played Spencer, Carly's older brother, and Nathan Kress, who played her friend and cameraman Freddie. While most fans are celebrating the return of a show they loved watching as kids, they are also asking the question about 2 other main cast members. Where are Jennette McCurdy and Noah Munck, whose character was a series regular before being bumped into the main one from season 4 onwards? And those 2 actors have played the roles of Sam and Gibby. Under the announcement of producer Jay Krogan, fans began tweeting and asking about the missing actors, to which he was more than happy to reply. And when he asked about whether Noah would be making a return, he replied to a fan telling them that he had been approached by them when asked about Jennette, and he simply replied, "It's her call." So it's safe to assume that both actors have been asked but are yet to make their decision. Though as many fans had noted, seeing the revival without Sam, who was one of the characters that made the program what it would be weird. And they eagerly kept an eye on her Instagram account for any updates, and while she did post shortly after the announcements, it was to keep fans in the know with regards to her podcast, Empty Inside. It seems right now, Curious, that the best thing to do is to wait and see. And in a rather cryptic tweet, Jay simply posted the word March, which many are taken as a hint that this is when the show will start filming, given that it has been reported that it will air in 2021. So filming started earlier in spring could mean that it would be ready to be released towards the end of the year. And if you're wondering what the show will be about, then Kogan also let fans know about with a reply to a question with the simple answer, "For adults but still weird." Do you, Curious, have any idea what could make this show be aimed at adults? Though iCarly isn't the only show that Nickelodeon is rebooting. So back in 2018, the broadcaster had announced that it was going to make an animated reboot and a live-action movie that featured CGI characters of one of the most successful shows, Rugrats. Initially, it aired on the channel in 1991 and went on for 9 seasons, making it one of their most well-known animated series. Originally, the movie was scheduled to be released in November of this chaotic 2020, but it has been postponed until next year. And according to Screen Rant, the series reboot is also set to air sometime in 2021. Nickelodeon has ordered for a 26-episode season, which is currently in the works, with Nancy Cartwright, Melanie Chartoff, and Cheryl Chase being the only confirmed voice actors and ones who will be reprising the roles of Chucky, Dee Dee, and Angelica respectively. And it is also reported that the creators of the original show are on board with this new project. Okay, is anyone else getting any huge nostalgia feels, Curious? And speaking of nostalgia, Karate Kid anyone? Or more like Cobra Kai Season 3, the hit series follows the lives of now grown-up Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence, with the original actors Macchio and Zapka returning to reprise their roles. The first 2 seasons originally had aired on YouTube, but the streaming giant Netflix acquired the rights to it, and not only did they make the first 2 seasons available to stream, but they also confirmed the 3rd season and announced a renewal for a 4th one. Originally, it has been set to be released on January 8th, and according to what's on Netflix, that might have changed, just as the platform is no longer stating that the exact date, but simply January 21. And if you want to know more about the show and what could happen in the 3rd season, then click on the link above. Still not enough? Well, here's a bit more news. Next year, we're also going to see a release of Ghostbusters Afterlife, which, while starring a new cast which includes Stranger Things' Finn Wolfhard and Marvel's Paul Rudd, the audience can also expect to see Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Sigourney Weaver, and Annie Potts to come back to their iconic roles from the movies that everyone loves so much. Oh, and not to mention the long-awaited sequel to Space Jam. Yes, finally, after 25 years, fans will be able to return to the world of Looney Tunes and basketball, starring LeBron James, about whom we have a video. So originally a sequel was going to be released in 1997, a year after the first one, but Michael Jordan did not agree to it, so this could indicate to fans that we possibly won't be seeing him in next year's one either. So Curious, nostalgia galore, am I right? Are you excited for iCarly revival? Do you think that McCurdy and Munck could still come on board? Are you looking forward to any other reboots and sequels that are coming out? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you guys next time!